Hello everybody, today is Tuesday, the 20th of May, and they're renovating downstairs. I made a card, started a few days ago, finished today, and it's gonna be this video, and there will be another one later on, but I'm not there yet, so enjoy. So I want to work on a card for a dog whose birthday is on the 20th. The Riesenschnauzer. And here I have the die cuts from Marianne Design, and you can make all of those dogs. And to help me, I recently just bought those. Those are ephemera, and I could just use those to stick on my card and things, but I want to use them as a helper. So I can check. It's a Riesenschnauzer. So I would take this dog and figure out which parts I need from this. And also, I can see what I can do with those Stanzen, and also with the accessories, those sticks and also the bead and stuffs. They are not here in the front, but here I have it's bought separately. All of those, which is the party hat, the bone, what is that? I don't know, some kind of wet vest, the bead, the ball, those, and another vest, and then the stick. And here are some accessories too. That is, I guess, the leash and the collar and this bandana. Ah, yeah, that's right around here, there. Okay. And by the way, I have the same thing for the cat die lot I have here. And I will never use those, but maybe once I have replicated all of those, then I could use them. I just like it to have it out like that. And I love those with the paws. When you can see their paws, is so cute. Apropos, huh? Hello! And I kind of want to make a card like this, where you open it and then you have something like that popping up. But I thought about the central window picture card. I have shown that in another video. And I thought of this. This is that the outer part bends too. That makes the part of the box here. So, and I wonder if I can have a normal straight front thing and then have a box popping up in the middle. I guess I can do that. And I want to have it more like lengthy and have it this way. And with the dogs, I want to have on the outside, there will be, where's that? Trees and stuffs, symbolically representing the forest and the wood walks one does. And then on the inside, I want to have a cozy couch. This is very new from Marianne Design. Finally, I got a couch. I did order one once from MFT, but it turned out to be so small, this one. And now this is just one couch. And on here, I could not fit it. Oh, that could be a dog couch though. But this is kind of cool like this. Yep. So I'm very happy about this one. And what else is in here? A bed. Because I am a lot in the bed. And I like this alarm clock a lot. That's what I had. Because I rarely heard my alarm clock, so I needed a very loud one that I don't switch off by accident. And then I also have this it's also new from Marianne Design. This is older books. A cozy reading nook. And I really like this window. It's so a bit wonky, or just very a cozy form. So with that and the couch, and maybe with this dresser, I want to make an inside scene, and again on the outside some trees and other nature stuffs where one goes on walks. And I want to make a dog that is more walking and one that's more lying down or something. And she has ein Schnauzer, mein Riesenschnauzer. I love him. He's called Harry. And I used to spend a lot of time with him when I was very unwell. And the video, I will link it in the box. It's vlog number 322, making a send a picture window card. Where did this, with that center picture window. It's a bit dark here, but okay.
And then I would
That is this one.
Close it up.
So it is Sunday morning, and I have fiddled around with my mock-ups here with my trying to make it work thingy. And I can just give you the theory first. So this is my card base, and I want to have a little box that pops up. It's kind of like a shadow box, or depending on where your score line is, it could be a center pop-up card, something. And now one way, the more complicated way to do it is you take a card base, and the insert is the same length as the card base. So it will cover those parts. Then you make a score line somewhere, like this one, or this one. Okay, again, you basically start with one score line here. This is where you're gonna glue it onto the card. And now you need to pay attention that this part is not overlapping the card base. So you need to make another score line at the same distance as this. And then to figure out this other score line, you need to take your first part out of the card, line up your card base where you have the score there, and then this small part and the long part need to be as long as this card. So you need to score here. And this is just your side thingy. So the whole length of this middle part is the whole length of your one side of the card base. And when you do it like this, you will be able to have it in there like that. And when you close it, it'll line up like this. Okay, I find it complicated because you have to measure this part. Needs to be the same as the card base. So an easier way to do that is you take another panel which is as long as your card base, one part of it, plus added glue tabs, flaps, just two, well, what's a quarter of an inch on each side longer. And you score those, so you're left with your basic card base size. And then you can score it wherever you want to. And important is when one puts it in, one makes that flush with this part, closes it up, and it will adhere on the right size height on the other side. And then you have the center thingy, which is just like this than here. Yeah, which I find easier. I mean, you could then experiment with where you do your scoring line. You could put it here or there, and the card will figure itself out. But this is basically just half of the card base plus the tabs, and score it anywhere you want to. Okay, so that's the theory. So I want to do the second. Maybe I'll give them both a try. Maybe I do. Okay, maybe do the first version with one A4 paper. It is very similar to the other card I have linked. So A4, yeah, it doesn't matter which paper you take, just make the measurements work for you. And I'm just gonna cut it in half and I have twice the same thing. And I know my paper is 21 centimeters wide. So I'm gonna, where is it? Here. No. I'm gonna try the ruler, but when I do that, it always gets crooked. But I want to try. So I'm going with 10.5 centimeters. Again, I just want to half my page. 10.5. Where's that? Crooked. Around here. Okay, I cut it apart. See how that turned out? Well, nearly. Okay. And now I score one in the middle. Well, I have this score pal in centimeters, and that is helpful for the A4 paper. because there this heart is the middle, because the length is not a good number to divide by 2. Okay, it's a bit under 15 centimeters. So this is my card base, like so. And now this one, gonna try it out. So I want to have, maybe I do 4 centimeters. So I'm just trying out something. I don't know if it turns out fine. And now I need to double that amount, so 8 centimeters. And then the next score line needs to match up from this first one to the middle here. Is there a score line? There is kind of a score line. Maybe that's and 19. Maybe a bit over. So I'm making a line here. Okay. I shift it a bit. Okay. I don't know if they go the right way though. Okay, so this needs to, okay, this bends the wrong way. This needs to bend this way. So this needs to bend the other way. Because I'm gonna attach it on my card, and it needs to fold flat like this. And when it opens, this needs to come up. So I need to have a fold like this over here, which is exactly the wrong way again. Okay, like so. I hope you get it. And now I have this insert, and I can test it. This will be adhered there and there. So this will pop up. And when it closes, and when it's all together, that is gonna be flush. So, okay, so that worked out. It's a very small pop-up, because I wanted to have a big room to pop up, but then it's just another center picture window card. And I would cut in a window here, and that will be that. Sorry, that was loud. So that is the one insert. Now I can try the other one. The other one just needs to be a bit bigger than one side. And I need to cut it too. I need to cut it to 10.5. I can cut that with this machine because this is fits my A4 paper. The other one doesn't. And then I go for 10.5. No, that is wrong. I get confused. Okay, so 10.5, I think. Okay, so I have the right height for my insert, which is now as high as this one. And then I just want to have a tab on the end. Okay, I just do 1 centimeter, which is about 1/4 inch, I think. Okay. And then I need this measurement of the hole here in the middle, like there. So I need another score line here. Okay. And then I cut off here, just another centimeter. Am I forgetting something? I am forgetting something. I know that's all right. That's all right. So far, so good. Voila. This is just the insert with the correct measurement. And this will fold backwards onto the card base. And the other one too. And now we can score this anywhere we want to, I think. And I want to make a bigger one. So I'm going to make it, but not entirely. I don't want to have it in the middle. So maybe here. Okay. I think that's bigger. Maybe it's not bigger. Is it bigger than this one? It is a bit bigger. And now I can fold this. So, and then when I adhere it, that's the only thing I need to pay attention. I close it up. I put it flush here. And then I put down the glue flap here. Add glue or adhesive here. And then just close it up. Open it up. And it should figure itself out. And then we have a bigger thing here in the middle. I kind of like that. Again, similar to the video I've linked. Yeah, but maybe more complicated. So those are the two ways to do that. And also now I need to cut a hole in here, ink blend and all this stuff, but that is just the basics. I'm starting with the first card, and I start with doing the cover page. I'm always glad when that's already done, because when you're finished with the inside and then you have to do the outside, it's a bit annoying. So I take Vintage Photo, Mowed Lawn and Twisted Citron to ink blend, and I also add some water splatters and then add some speckles in 3 different colors. I did not film that here. So, and there you see the background for my cover page, which would just have a sentiment. And now I take the insert with fossilized amber and wild honey, and those colors are so similar. My ink blending did not really look spectacular, so I did not include that here. You barely see difference from the top to bottom. And also added some speckles with kind of orange and gold. Then here I want to have a layer, like a ground layer, a floor insert. So I take the measurements from my card. It needs to be as wide as the pop-up is. And then I ink blend this with, again, Vintage Photo. It's my favorite brown, and black soot. Just, I'm sorry, to have a shading. Yeah. So this insert is still too big, but I just kept it like this because I didn't know how big it should be in the end. And that is my floor. Then I did the stamping on the inner panel. There's some German sentiments, and I thought this balloon in blue is kind of cool. I think those are the colors the owner of the dog likes very much. So this says, von Herzen, from my heart, alles Liebe, all the love, all the best. Diese Karte kommt zu spät, damit du länger überrascht wirst. This card is too late, so you will be surprised for longer. And here it should be hoch sollst du leben, but you can't read the sollst du, which means you should live high. I don't know. Yeah, that's an expression. So. Then I had to cut an opening into that insert part so you can see into your shadow box. I took the same frame die for cutting out the hole and the frame. That's why they fit, so there's no overlapping. And I used Scotch tape or sellotape to stick it in. I don't think it's a solution. The better solution would be to cut out a bit of a smaller hole on the panel, but I didn't want to cut out with scissors. So I just did that. I could have traced the die on the inside and then cut a bit wider than the die so the line doesn't show up, but it would still be smaller than what the die cuts out, if that makes sense. Then I had to cut off the overlapping parts, and I'm happy with the result, even though it behaves a bit weirdly when I fold it now because of that cutout. Yeah, so here I measure for my tapestry because this is like a room behind that window, and I want to put a patterned paper there as a tapestry. It turned out my paper is a bit wider than that, so I just trim it to the height of that and not in the width, which is kind of cool. And I rarely measure with a measuring stick, with a ruler. I always use my panels that I have already and kind of make it fit. So, and there it felt like my hands would be my feet suddenly, and nothing worked. You will see that in a second, unless I cut it out. So I also have troubles with putting big panels in when it's over the fold. Yeah, a solution would be to cut off 2 small panels and put them left and right to the fold, because it really behaves weirdly. You can barely fold it entirely then, or open it entirely. But I didn't want this card to open entirely. I mean, I want the room to stand when the card is open, so it only needs to open to 90 degrees. And here, I don't know, it just didn't work. It was crooked, and also the glue dried right away. It's a very quick drying glue, but that was a bit too quick. So I was able to take it off again. And then I tried it again, but it was hard. Felt like, I don't know, it just didn't feel good. And so I just put one side down and then do the other side with a lot of glue now. Yeah, and then I try to wiggle it around and make it fit, and don't open it more than this, because again, I want a 90-degree angle, but I also want it to be able to close. So this is just the thoughts behind behind this very easy looking step, but I find it one of the hardest. Also find voiceovers very, very hard to just keep on talking and it's English and the words are not there. And there you saw a very quick glance of what I will put on the front thing. Here I trim off a little bit of the sides, because I only want to have glue flaps about a quarter of an inch, a centimeter, and I think I eyeballed it under the window and just trim my floorboard about that much. So those flaps could have still been a bit shorter, but it's all right. And now I just put it there where I want to have it, and we'll have a look at it. So you can see it too. Well, the window is quite big, but yeah, it's just how it is. Okay. And then I put some score tape onto those flaps, so that is prepared for later. I also had to assemble this doggy. I'm happy how it turned out, and he turns 11 and he has a little gray hair, so I could use white to ink blend a bit, and also that makes it easier to see him, because black on black on black is hard to see. And here I just wanted to check how I want to put it on, so he looks like he is on the couch, not upon, but kind of in and on the couch. So I put his hind legs behind those armrests and his front legs over the pillow where he sits on. I think that gives you the illusion of sitting in the couch, not just on it or in front of it. And then I had to glue that on. Also ink blended those parts a bit too, and this is patterned paper I made myself, and for it to show up that there's different parts, I had to ink blend it a bit, like the bottom of the pillow and stuff. And now I am just adhering one side of this panel that is in the card. I just decided to adhere the small part, and this is a bit easier. I can really make it flush. I have very good paper. It's, I think, 300 gram paper. That is very, very thick paper, and I love it for stuff. If I glue a few of those panels together, it's like wood, or at least chipboard or something, cardboard. And then I eyeball it. In the end, I would have liked it a bit further to the back, but I just put it there. I just made sure that it's flush on the bottom part with the card base. Then I took off that release paper on the right hand side and could just fold down the side, and it adheres on the right spot. Now I try to see where my dog should sit so I can see it, and it is a pretty window, but where his face is exactly that decoration of the window. But in real, in echt, we would say in German, it looks a bit better than here on the footage. So, and then I just glued him on. I could have also finished the whole card and then glued him in, but that's also very fiddly. Don't like that either. And now, last step, just adhere the last panel. And I already did the front panel. I just had 2 sentiments, as one big happy birthday with a drop shadow, and I just glued it on before. So with this step, see, there it is. I am finished with this card. So, yeah, well, hard to see black on black. And I don't get that video shorter, so I will, and haven't finished the card, the other one, so there will be another video with the second type of this kind of card. So thank you for watching and see you in the next one.